We just had our big live stream today, about 2 o'clock, several hours ago, and it was really fun. We were talking about the 6-inch scale, but as you know with our live streams, it's always fine to just do an open Q&A. Anybody can ask anything they want. And I had a supporter of Retroblasting indicate that he'd asked a lot of questions. I assume it's a he. Might be a she, but it says Star Wars guy. So I was like, oh, well, they asked a bunch of questions but said none of them got answered. So I thought, well, I'll just answer them right here. I'll just answer them in a video, so that they get the answers they want. And then I just thought, well, I'll make a video of it and it'll be fine. Okay, so here we go. And also, funnily enough, right after the live stream got done, the custom Firestar that I had ordered showed up in the mail. So I get to put her on display for this video. There'll be another video later about the whole trio of amazing friends that I finally have after a lifetime. But for now, she gets to hang out with them in their very first video appearance. All right. Retroblasting. Because I'm 12 and find only my 3 friends to talk to about action figures, what's your favorite toy out of He-Man, G.I. Joe, and Star Wars? Star Wars' favorite toy is Bespin Luke Skywalker from the Kenner line. He-Man, my favorite toy that I grew up with is probably Skeletor, the action figure. Although the one I really love as an adult is Ninjor. I think Ninjor's really cool. Didn't have him as a kid. Recently got him. G.I. Joe, favorite toy. My favorite character is Flash, but my favorite actual G.I. Joe anything, well, I really love that custom chrome Conquest that I got at Joe Fest, which I hope you saw the video for that. That's my favorite G.I. Joe anything I've ever seen. As far as something I would have grown up with, I really like the Vamp Mark II. I love the Desert Vamp. I just think it's one of the coolest vehicles that the G.I. Joe line ever had. So yeah. And Storm Shadow. You gotta love Storm Shadow. Ninja. Were there Doctor Who figures sold in the US where you live? Because I live in the UK, I wouldn't know. Yes, they did sell Doctor Who figures here, but for the most part, they were sort of like comic book store exclusives and online. And eventually, Toys R Us sold exclusive sets here of sort of like a Doctor and a Dalek, from a specific episode. But they were very collector-focused pieces. They were not, when I say that, I mean they were the same toys you got over there, but they targeted collectors instead of kids. And I wasn't actually into Doctor Who at the time, stupidly, so I passed them all up, and I could have gotten them for a great price, and I had to go get them on the secondhand market. Let's see. Why do you reckon they didn't do a Top Gun line up of toys? Because the creators admitted it was Star Wars on Earth. Probably because Top Gun, even though it was PG in the 80s, it was a very adult film. I can't remember if it was PG-13 or not. I would think it would have been PG-13, honestly. It had to have been. Anyway, yeah, it was a very adult movie. And that's probably why there were no toys for it. That's why there was the whole Hasbro Flying Fighters thing that came out later. Because while kids didn't get toys for Top Gun, they became obsessed with Top Gun and by extension Iron Eagle, and they wanted fighter plane toys. Okay. I'm still a kid, but I don't have an issue with the figures nowadays because of them bringing back 80s characters and bringing back the figures from Marvel and Star Wars. But I do have an issue that the model's made for adults. So will you do a video on Power of the Force 2 in the middle of it all, of the change of the figure market? I kind of talked about Power of the Force 2 in the Rogue One video. So if you watch that, you should get some of my thoughts on Power of the Force 2. I don't know if I'm going to specifically do a video talking about that transition from that perspective. It's peppered into a lot of the videos I've already done. But watch the Rogue One special, part 1 and 2, to see answers to that. What do you think of the Phantom Menace? Personally, I love it. The only thing I have an issue with is the use of CGI too much and Jar Jar. I think Phantom Menace is the best prequel. I know that's a controversial position, but I was there and saw them all in the theater. And I feel like Phantom Menace is the least offensive prequel. One, because it was actually shot on film. Two, because it was farthest away from the original trilogy in the timeline. Yes, it introduced some thematic and canonical problems with the mythos, but it's far enough away from the original trilogy events that it doesn't butt right up against them and start negating huge things about them like Revenge of the Sith did. So yeah, I think Phantom Menace is the best prequel. Will you go to Cardiff Comic-Con? Because I would love to meet one of my favorite YouTubers at my home city. I assume you meant to say favorite. You just said one of my YouTubers. I'm going to editorialize that for you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know when Cardiff Comic-Con is. I'm going to be in Cardiff sometime in mid-September. Like, it's going to be September, I don't know, 20th? Something like that, like September 18th, 20th. I don't know the exact dates of our itinerary yet. And I'm just going there for myself. So I don't know if Cardiff Comic-Con is at that time. I'll have to look it up. Let's see what it says right here. When is Cardiff Comic-Con? Cardiff Comic-Con. I have this magic box. I can just pull things up. September 8th. Yeah, I'm not gonna be there because I don't show up in England until September 13th. So sorry, but I hope that answers your questions, and I hope everybody else found that a little insightful. So we got a lot of good videos coming up, as I told you, down the pipeline. Inhumanoids is going to be one. Inhumanoids, that's coming very soon. I'm finishing up a Doctor Who figure, action figure related video right now. And then I'm working on the restorations of the R2-D2 and the Defiant. And I'm also doing the rest of Robotech. So you'll be seeing Robotech parts 3 and 4 as well. So there's a lot that I'm working on. And then this Halloween, you're going to see a new Real Ghostbusters related video. And you're also going to see, before Christmas, another Star Wars Follies. So keep those on your radar. There'll also be a lot in between that I can't really pin down yet, so I don't want to say one thing definitively, but those you will definitely be seeing. So we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for being patrons. Thanks for being on the Patreon. If you're watching this, I cannot thank you enough for all your support. You make this possible. And if you guys weren't around, we would probably end up just shutting our doors. So thank you for all that you do. We'll talk to you later.